Welcome back to part 2, everybody. I'm your host, Lunic. When we were here last week, we had 2 other gang members joining us. Today, we pick up with an advocate who's considered a veteran with the Bloods. Take a look at Marcellus Allen, better known as Bishop on the streets.
I won't necessarily say I'm a gang member for life, but I will always be a Blood. I'm a family man, that's how I like to be addressed. So if I'm always be affiliated with this life, yes, I will.
Marcellus says he is a Blood for life, but he shares with me the importance of fatherhood and his newfound love for his foundation, SOS, Saving Ourselves. Welcome, Bishop.
How you doing?
I'm good. You got a great smile on your face. So let me ask you, the man, the father, the husband, the advocate, and a gang member? Do you think there's a little bit of hypocrisy in that?
No, I don't. Actually, they all share a common thread, which would be being responsible. Mm-hmm. A man that will basically do what he has to do to provide for his family.
Okay.
And accepting responsibility at any age.
So no hypocrisy. You don't think that other people look at that, and do you even care?
Yeah, I was about to say I don't waste my life worrying about what other people think. I do what I have to do.
So we talked a little bit about your brother. Can you just explain a little bit about the controversy, who he is and what's surrounding him?
It's a difference between who people think he is and who I know him to be. But for the man that they've labeled him, I mean, he was, I guess you could say, at the top of the charts, especially back in the mid-90s. Pretty much when the whole gang thing came over here.
Mm-hmm. Came over here to New Jersey.
On the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, he was pretty much who he was already as an individual. Like when we ran around as a family, like no outsiders. So, he never really did any crazy crimes, but he was pretty much who he was already. So once you add the whole gang aspect, the powers that be, they saw a lot of money in that, you know what I mean? So they saw opportunity and they capitalized on it.
And on the street, he was known as?
At first it was David Allen, but David Allen died when he got shot up, man. That's when the Duke rose.
Duke?
Yeah, the Duke.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
I mean, that was his new life, that was his new name, that was who he became. So the Duke basically is what the media portrays him as now, some big bad,
Mm-hmm. So how does being his brother affect your life at all?
Not to give myself a big pat on the back, but I will, I guess I had to know how.
Because that's big.
Yeah, it's real big. I mean, but, you had to be willing to accept what came with that. Mm-hmm. In my case, I've been in 11 and a little more than 11 and a half years. I was interrogated 7 times. Mm-hmm. Nothing less than 15 hours. So in that case, from that point, it was bad. But in other ways, whereas he's an individual who was able to green light a few things, he green lighted, what we have now, the organization we have, SOS.
SOS.
So without him, I probably wouldn't even be doing this.
So what is the purpose of SOS?
SOS is a grassrooted gang prevention intervention program. I advocate for the youth. In the beginning, what happened, it was conceived out of a 2004 ceasefire between the Bloods and the Crips. Mm-hmm. And it was, the SOS was basically comprised of all official gang members who all shared that common goal of being heard, having the community realize that, we're human just like you are.
So is that your goal now in life? Like, is that one of your main things that like one of those things that you make priority?
Well, yeah, I like to be a voice for those who don't really understand what they've gotten themselves into, primarily the youth. Because at this point, if you're kind of old, you know what you went to, one way or the other, you know what you went to. For some, or the ones that it's not too late for, I advocate for them.
I did the prison time. I did it bound by my loyalty. You know what I mean? I've been on trial 2 times facing 20 with 10s. If you in a gang, don't feel bad about it. Do something with it now. Y'all gotta stop making excuses, man, because that's all we living for.
Do you think that the gang life is responsible for a lot of things, bad things that happen in the neighborhoods?
You can say they're responsible for some things, but overall, nah, I
Not
disagree.
everything.
Nah, I mean, gangs and stuff been here for a long time. You know what I mean? But in our case, I can only speak from where I come from, and poverty played a big role in that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you had cats coming up, they looking at the big drug dealers and things like
And
that.
want to
So
be like them.
yeah, so you had that first, and then when the gang aspect came, it was a new fad. You know what I mean? Being over here, these cats, they run with the fad. It's like wearing skinny jeans.
So it is said that 49% of murders in America are African Americans and executed exclusively by other African Americans. How does gangs play a role, do you think, in these statistics?
I would say in that case, the stats, that 49%, I really don't, I'm not a stat man.
You're not
like
a
that,
stat man, okay.
I'm kind of a rebel, so when they say it's 49%, I tend to think it might be 10%.
Okay,
what I mean?
in your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and being out here in the midst of things, I see a lot, I hear a lot, so I'm just like, I see how they playing. You know what I mean? They, the powers that be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you said, what was the last part?
The last part was, my question was, how does gangs, play a role in these statistics? Because you said 10%, so then you're not really agreeing with the 49%.
No.
So you don't think the gangs are responsible for a lot of things, a lot of the killings and the robberies and stuff that happen in the hood, as we would call it?
I would say they responsible for a portion, but
But they run the streets.
I mean,
Gangs run the streets in the hood. You don't agree to that? That would be hypocritical.
Nah, that's not hypocritical. But I know. I guess we could say that's true. I guess
Y'all
we
run
could
the
say
streets.
that's true. You know what I mean? I thought the police ran it, but
Okay.
But I mean, I guess that could be true. But I'll be at battles with it because it's like, I'm 40 years old.
Okay.
So I was around for a long time watching all this different stuff. Now if you want to just overall say everything was called a gang, cool. That's how you're gonna do it. But I can remember when this family was strong and that family. So if it's a family thing, they call gangs.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Think about the meaning.
Right.
How they changed the meaning from one thing to another thing.
When you
now,
say they, who's they?
Just the powers that be, the people that control everything.
Okay.
Whoever wrote the Webster Mac dictionary.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, I don't have nobody specific to blame.
Okay. So where do you see progress in the communities as far as the gangs are concerned? Like, where do you see this going?
Yeah, I definitely see progress. I could say that in 3 letters or 3 words.
And what was those 3 words?
SOS, or saving ourselves.
Okay.
So progress. I mean, I think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible. But everybody has to be on the same accord, on one accord.
When we met in Newark, you talked about your son, and I asked, Crip this question. What would you do if you found out that your son or any child of yours wanted to become a gang member?
If I found out that they wanted to become one.
Or became one, because do you think they can do it without your permission?
It's a difference.
Can they do it without your permission?
Nah, they're not doing that, no.
How can you prevent that?
It wouldn't be wise of them.
But how can you prevent that from happening? You made your own decision.
Yeah, but I didn't have the support base either.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I didn't have somebody in my ears, since I was born telling me what to do, what not to do.
Okay.
And basically creating that fear factor that they can't stop it. You know what I mean? In my case, all my children, God bless me, I'm still here, but I never sugarcoat anything when it comes to my kids.
So they know.
They know
who you
what
are.
I am. They know my capabilities. They know all that. You know what I mean?
You think they fear you?
Oh yeah, I implement fear when they're in the stomach. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, I do that early. You know what I mean? And not to be a tough guy, but I do believe a level of fear should be implemented in a child's life. We being parents, we supposed to know better. You know what I mean? So if that's what it takes, then yeah, it's going, you know, tough love.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the general goal of being a blood?
Well, basically for myself is to change the mindset, stay well involved, keep my ears to the street. That way I can be able to maneuver and do the things I do, you know, especially since I'm on the right path when it comes to this stuff, you know, the whole SOS movement. You know, if you know, I don't agree. I mean, I don't agree with the whole you're not this anymore. You know what I mean? Because you're supposed to have been aware of what you was doing early. You know what I mean? Yeah, you may not be active in a negative manner,
Right.
but why take it away? Why just say you're not that no more? That can't be possible. You know what I mean? That's supposed to be understood when you get into this life. So it's not about being a blood or a Crip or whatever. It's about what you're doing with it.
You speak like a wise man. You're 40 years old, correct?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can say, you know, the things that you are able to say and to speak in the way that you speak. There's pictures of you and other things before the button-up shirt and the slack. You, like, I like this.
Thank
You
you.
know, I'm comfortable. Not that I was uncomfortable before, but, you know, do you think that that makes people look at you a little bit different, like the homies,
Oh,
as we call them?
you mean with me being dressed up now?
Yeah, with you being dressed up. How is that transition? What is that? Like, why did you decide to do that?
I mean, first and foremost, I always love clothes. Let's get that out there
Okay,
now. You know,
okay.
I got a fetish for clothes.
Okay.
But
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but in regards to how they perceive me now, you'll be surprised at how many cats want to put on the dress clothes and stuff, but they don't have the leadership qualities to step out there and do it because they worrying about what everybody
Right.
gonna say and
It's
think
thinking,
of them. You know what I
okay.
mean? Yeah. That's another thing I put in my children. You know, they want to wear their suits at 2, 3 years old. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
that's a good thing to know that they following daddy. And if I notice that's what they're doing, then it's my job, my obligation to get out here and do things in the leadership role to let them follow me. You know what I mean?
Does that feel good?
Oh, it's great. I got 10 kids, man. I got a little army.
Wow, wait a minute.
I got a little army, so yeah, I'm keeping it tight.
You got a whole basketball team and there's some folks on the bench. That's
Couple of cheerleaders. you
Couple
know what I mean? Yeah.
okay. So what advice would you give, you know, to other members that are coming up, you know, that are trying to do this thing? And, you know, because I noticed, you know, it's a little different coming up, you know, the way you did.
Yeah,
like there's
definitely.
other things that they're enticed by. You know, what are some of the advice that you would give them? Like, because, you know, the world is listening.
Hey, for all the cats out there, I would definitely have to say, get in touch with who you are. Put yourself in a leadership role no matter what your title is. Always be a leader and believe in what you're doing. And if you're out here for something positive, don't never let this, you know, go beyond the skies, man. There ain't no sky's the limit, you know what I mean? Soar beyond that, you know? So if you're on that other path, I'll pray for you.
I like that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So when we come back, we're gonna bring Crip back, and we're gonna talk to him and Bishop and ask the Twitter questions that you guys posted on Twitter. We'll be back. This portion of the show has been sponsored by Fabulous Appetizers. Find out why Fabulous Appetizers is the new way of entertaining, located downtown Rutherford, New Jersey. So we're back with Crip and Bishop to answer some of the Twitter questions that the fans posted on Twitter. Now, I'm going to go verbatim. My first question from the Twitter fans are, anybody can answer this question, okay? At Vilu wants to know if you guys have ever considered how your actions affect people that are really, really close to you.
Yeah, I definitely did. But understanding the mentality once you in that life is different because you still thinking about the protecting and the things like that, and I think we understand it's always two sides to something anyway. You know what I mean? You can become a powerful guy or girl, and it's always going to be somebody that want to come up in the ranks that want to get at you, probably remove you from that place. So it could play out negative or it can play out positive. So I mean, in regards to thinking about it, yeah, but that's a chance you got to take. You know what I mean? I'd rather have the respect out here. You know, it's according to how you do things.
I think, well, speaking for me, I kind of got disconnected from my family for a couple years because, you know, you're doing whatever you're doing on the streets, you kind of want to have it separate. So they, like Bishop was saying, so they don't have a way to get at you without really getting at you. So, you know, I kind of disconnected myself when I was doing the wild and crazy stuff and, you know, kind of stayed with the homies or in areas away from my family so I wouldn't get them put in any danger.
So you, by any means necessary, and you say that you remove them for the situation, so you kind of think about it beforehand? Because is there an opportunity to always think about it beforehand?
I mean, it's always an opportunity to think about it beforehand.
I mean,
go ahead.
It would depend on the situation.
Okay.
Cause like me personally, I've never been like the club type and all that stuff like that.
Okay.
But we all know when you go into the club, you know, you kind of, especially living that life, you putting yourself in harm's way. And what do we do when we go to the club? You know, we going with the homies. So we gonna be known for who we are, whether we blood, Crip, or whatever the case is.
You're recognized.
So yeah, you know what I mean? So anything can happen at that time, but you come prepared, you feel me? So.
Okay. My second question is from @SharsLove. She has two questions. Her first question is, what is the life expectancy of a gang member?
How long they been banging? I ain't expecting to make it past 18.
I ain't expecting to make it past 19.
Wow. You're 40 now, and you're
29. Man, it's a big difference, huh? When you was doing...
wow.
We still had driving movies with you was out there.
So, @SharLove, second question is, is there a retirement plan? You know, when that day comes and you can't gangbang anymore.
I'm not gonna say you can't gangbang no more. It's just a different way you doing it now. You might not be on the corner. Might not be in the hood every day.
But is there a game plan? Like, do you have a plan? You don't have to tell me what that plan is.
Do I have a plan?
What she wants to know is, like, do you have a plan? Like, did you say, you know what, I've been out here gang banging in the streets for 15 years. I got about $190 million put away in the bank for a rainy day. Like a retirement plan, you know, like I'm gonna retire on my yacht, you know, like, do you think about these things? And is there a plan? And I think that's what she's asking.
I don't really think you have a plan because if you gangbanging and you out here going hard, I think life kind of starts to set in that, okay, you can't really do this forever. You can't be 40 years old on the corner with 17 and 18-year-olds doing the same thing they doing. It looks kind of ridiculous.
So it depends what you're doing. It depends what you're doing while you're in that life. You know what I mean? If you in that life for the purpose of selling drugs, then you're gonna have this pretty much the same idea as a regular drug dealer, whether you're a gangbanger or not. You know what I mean? So your goal is to get that money, try to get rich, and then expand to whatever you want to go do. You know what I mean? So
is there a retirement plan?
In my case, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
So is there a retirement plan?
You said something about $190 million.
I did say that.
If I had that, it'd cut. I'd be retiring to another island or somewhere where I don't have to pay taxes because that money sounds like
a lot of money.
Fed time. That's what that money sounds like.
I think we both could say we're at least trying to make that retirement plan come true right now because. You know, he's doing a host of things in regards to his life now, and so am I. So, if nothing else, those are our retirement plans. Okay. If you agree with that.
Definitely. Okay. @LamontBrown41 wants to know, why are children being recruited?
Why are children being recruited? I mean, think about it. You're at a rebellious stage. A lot of these kids join gangs when they 13, 14, 15. That's the kind of the stage in life where you smell yourself. You think nobody understands.
When you're what?
When you smelling yourself.
When you smell. I think I understand what that means, but what does that mean?
When you feeling yourself, when you think can't nobody tell you anything.
Okay.
So, you know, it's kind of
smelling yourself.
I don't want to say easier, but it's easier to get involved in the gang
to manipulate children. You think?
Nah, I wouldn't say
I
manipulate.
was hearing it different too, but she said recruit them. So not the joining, just the people that's recruiting them.
Right.
The big homies, and, you know what I'm saying?
The what?
The big homies.
The big homies. Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It could work. The big homies is.
Yeah, you guys are talking amongst each other, and I need to understand the lingo, and the public needs to understand the lingo. So recruiting the
Now,
homies, what is that? I mean, understand.
You can't really say, well, the big homie is the person who run the hood.
Okay.
Establish the hood, you know.
That's their territory.
Shot caller, whatever you want to refer to him as. But if me and you the same age and I'm banging, I tell you, look, you need to get down with the hood.
Right.
It's not like the big homie recruiting you. I'm recruiting you. I'm just bringing you to the hood, getting the okay from somebody who is able to give the okay for you to be down with the hood.
Okay. At Ride or Die 5698 wants to know, do you know what you're fighting for and how this thing even got started?
Of course, I don't think you should do nothing. You don't know the history of it. I mean, that's kind of foolish. I mean, you do have people out here who.
So you don't think there's people out here that's gangbanging that don't even know anything about the history of blood?
I know there's people out here like that.
Okay.
But they're not gangbanging. They just repping.
They just what?
To the fact. They just repping.
They just want to be down with something.
That's it.
And they don't even know what the cause is.
If you really are for your hood and you know, for your homies, you want to know where it started from, how it happened, how it got to this point. You know, you want to know information. Knowledge is power.
For me, as far as knowing what I'm fighting for, my reasons for what I did or do, it's probably not what everybody read about. You know what I mean? It's a couple of stories, you know, people say, but I'm not fighting for that one dude, that one blood on the West Coast that got killed over a coat. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fighting for that.
Okay.
Because number one, I'm from the East Coast. You know what I mean? I'm living a different type of lifestyle, or at least I was. You know what I mean? So when I got into this, I got into it because it was something I believed in. Like I said, and I'm always say, when I got into this lifestyle, I got into it to change the mindset. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say when I got into it, I still wasn't doing crime.
Right.
I was doing crime, but I was doing crime before I got into that.
Okay.
So I was who I was before that. It's just that now, you know, I was trying to find my way. So in trying to find my way, I knew I had to primarily be involved, you know what I mean, firsthand. And it wasn't a fear factor that I was dealing with, you know what I mean? So I wanted to step up to the plate, you know, even before I had status, I was still a leader in my own way, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you catch me before I get up, then it is what it is. But right now, you know, I'm still gonna look out for that little dude or that little girl that's walking out here when they shouldn't be out here.
Okay.
So that's who I'm fighting for.
Okay. My next question is from @BubbleGirl. No, did I just do that one? No.
You did Ride or Die.
I did Ride or Die. My next question is @BubbleGirl10811. Sound like she repping. Sound like she down with the gang. No. @BubbleGirl10811 wants to know if you're so positive, where do you see your community in 10 years?
I don't really understand the question. What is
like she's saying, like, in other words, you know, if you say you're for the community, but what are some of the things that what are some of the things that you're going to do? And what do you see? Like, if you can look 10 years from now, do you see peace in the community? Do you see no more gang banging in the community? Do you see people like playing in the park again, jumping rope, playing hopscotch? Do you see the neighbors in the hood?
I see a better understanding of self. Because it's always gonna be gangs. It's poverty, it's moms, parents strung out, parents not there. It's no fighting. It was gangs before it was Bloods and Crips. They just multiplied the most and stretched over a vast piece of land. It's always been gangs.
Bishop?
I ain't gonna lie to you, 10 years, I think it's gonna, at least for this hood right here, you know, certain parts of Newark, you know, if you know anything about Newark, it's certain areas that just never ever progress, you know what I mean? Certain areas, like downtown or places like that, I can see certain areas progressing, but certain other areas.
So you don't see your area progressing?
No, I do see my area.
Oh, okay.
Actually, my
'Cause
area,
I was
I
gonna
do
say
see
SO,
progression.
okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong. You know, SOS out here, we out here hard, we doing things, but what we dealing with is man, it's so far,
It's bigger than you.
Yeah, it's very much
It's
so.
bigger
You know what
than
I mean?
you.
So if we can't continue to, and then you look at people like he 29, you know what I mean, and you know, if he don't step up to the plate, I'm 40, you know what I mean? I probably got like another 20, 25 years out running these young cats, you know what I mean? But
Outrunning.
oh yeah, because I'm running now, you know what I'm saying? but if they, you know, if they keep messing up like they doing, you know, they 12, 13 years, we were talking about this earlier, on drugs.
Right.
So that's why I say I don't, you know, if we keep dealing with that level of ignorance, you know, this is our future. You know,
Right.
it's going to be messed up for us, you know what I mean?
Okay. My last question is from at Walk by Faith 59 wants to know if you ever had a guilty conscience for anything that you've done on the streets that you feel wasn't right, or others may have felt. Like you look back now, any
I can
guilty
honestly say
conscience?
I did, definitely. Even in the whole selling drugs, you know, even when like I went to prison, when I got set up and sent to prison. But when that happened to me, I was already out the game. I left the game because I hated what I was doing. You know, I tried to do certain things. Like I sent away 10 people to rehab centers and stuff, and I actually see 4 of them to this day. You know what I mean? They doing good. So that helps me to know that, you know, that's good. That sit good on my soul. You know what I mean? But even with just the selling drugs alone, yeah, I was feeling real. Like I used to just look around like, man, I'm better than this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Felt
So you
like
had
I
a
wasn't
conscience
learning.
then?
Oh yeah, I always had one. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like I always I've been a dude that just did what he had to do though. You know what I mean? I had to survive, and like I said earlier, you know, I didn't have that support base. You know what I mean? I had to find it myself. You know what I mean? So if I seen an old head, I'm sucking up any knowledge I could get like a sponge. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it kind of helped me find a way a little bit.
I think that just trying to survive really kind of put a dilemma on my guilty conscience, because that was like the scapegoat. I'm out here, I'm trying to survive. If I don't sell
Right.
it,
Somebody else gonna
sell
do
it.
it.
You know what I mean? I might as well feed my kids.
Wow.
I mean, so as I look now and see, you know, the change that I went through, the things that go on, you kind of feel bad, but at the same token, if I'm not doing it, somebody else is gonna do it.
Okay.
So I don't want to say, oh my God, my conscience is just, no. It's made me who I am today. You feel me? To be able to go to the young cats and be like, yo, look, you don't even want to do this. Break it down. You just like these fiends, you hustling to.
Right, true.
You up early,
Right.
you barely eating, you running the streets all day. Matter of fact,
Washing
you
your
up
back.
earlier than them because you got to
Gotta
make sure you
prepare.
up with the stuff ready for when they get up.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of a catch-22.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That's our show, everybody. I want to thank my guests, my viewers, and my Twitter followers for, sending these questions to us. You can find me at iamlunic on Twitter and Instagram. See you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. Till the next time. Next on iamlunic.com, we take you to the Jersey Shore, the before and aftermath of Hurricane Sandy.